Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. We are in my 1967 Porsche 912, which has that Type 4 2-liter motor hanging out back. What makes this car even more unique, well, for the first gens at least, is the transmission is a 901 or a 902, depending if it was a 4-speed or a 5-speed and a 911 or a 912. And it has a standard racing H, which is a little bit different than what you would find today in a Toyota or a Boxster or a 911. So I thought we'd take a few minutes and kind of show you how one of these transmissions drive. So a 901 or 902 transmission's shift pattern is different than today's modern 5-speed or 6-speed transmissions, in which where first gear is in a normal modern day transmission is where reverse is in this car. So that means first gear is really where second is, and second is where third is, and on and on and on and on. And then it takes a little bit of getting used to, especially when you have multiple cars. When you get back into this car, you have to rethink what you're doing. Otherwise, you think you're in first and you're in reverse and you're going that way. So the reason why Porsche did this in the first gen cars was for racing. Remember now, the ignition is on the left-hand side. So for Le Mans racing, you could start the car and shift all at the same time. Where if the ignition switch was here in the middle by the gear shifter, you'd have to use one hand to start and then one hand to shift. And didn't work out so well. And on top of that, you have to factor in the fact that when you're racing a road course, you're basically in second and third gear mostly. So with them being on top of each other, it's a quick throw, bam, bam, bam. And you're only in first when you're starting off. And unless you're on the highway, you're really not into fifth gear. So here's a dead stop. Now we are in a residential, so we'll take it kind of easy. But when I take off, I shifted about 2,500 to 3,000 out of first. If you guys like these videos, do me a favor if you would you please subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up or a like, and comment down below. Let me know if you have some ideas for me or some suggestions on projects that you'd like to see me do, or if you want questions answered about one of the cars. All right, so we're here to stop. We're getting ready to turn onto kind of a major road. It's not a residential, so we can kind of wind this car up a little bit. And I'm gonna let some cars pass us by real quick here. All right, here we go, first gear. And 3,000 shift. In second. 5,000, shift into third. In third gear. 5,000 into fourth. Fourth gear. And 5,000. And I'm doing about 75 miles per hour in fifth gear at around 3,500 RPM. It's like a go-kart, a souped-up go-kart with a short wheelbase in this 912, the first generation, 911s and 912s. Yeah. Freaking awesome. So we start to slow down. We have traffic around us. I'm about 55 miles per hour. I'm in fifth gear, and I'm about 2,600 RPM. And at this stance right here, this pace, this is what I usually do on the freeway for just cruising along. Let's see if we can't get around this Jeep real quick. So 60 miles per hour, we're about 3,000 RPM. Now you gotta take into consideration that this 901 transmission, 902 transmission, it has gears 1, 2, and 3 are original to 1967. The gears 4 and 5, I pulled from a Porsche 914, because remember, the motor is a Type 4, which is what they have in a 914, and a Type 4 and a 616 engine have different ratios for gearing in that motor. Okay, back down to fourth gear. I'm a big believer in downshifting to help you brake. So we're in fourth gear, we're about 40 miles an hour, about 2,500 RPM. Cruising along here. And got a stop coming up. So I go down to third, and I'll hit second. And I normally downshift when I get to about 2,000 RPM. I never want to really let my engine drop below that. And then after second, I never go to first. I throw to neutral and just kind of come to a stop. Now my idle's a little high today. I haven't had a chance to adjust. I'm at about 1,200 RPM. First gear, 3,000. I'm into second. A little bit of traffic around us. Whoa, and farm equipment. Yeah, I live in outskirts of Phoenix, and we have farm equipment around us, tractors and stuff. All right, so back to third gear here. I'm at about 40 miles per hour at about 3,500 RPM. Get to about 4,000 RPM, and I'll shift into fourth. And typically, if I'm hot rodding around town, I'll never hit fifth gear. I'll stay in fourth and third in there. If I'm just cruising or if I'm on the highway, I'll go into fifth gear. All right, let's make a turn here. We're in fourth gear. I'm going to go down to third. And second. Bring this girl to a stop. All right, here we go. First gear. 3,000 shift. Second gear, about 4,000 into third. 4,000, three to fourth. And I'm at about 3,200 RPM at about 50 miles an hour. And being in traffic on a city street like this one here, it's probably about the best I'd want to do. Now I can drop it down into fifth, which at 50 miles per hour gives me about 2,400 RPM, about 50 miles per hour in fifth gear. So I'm saving some gas, I'm cruising along, nothing to do. Get ready to make our next turn here. And there's a local popo. Fourth gear coming around, downshifting to third. Go right into second here. Gonna make ourselves a turn, make a loop back to the house. I'm in second, I'm coming around, keep my RPM about 2,000 plus. Okay, in second, and about 4,500 on that one. I'm in third now, 4,500, into fourth, and I'm hitting traffic. I'll go ahead and drop her into fifth gear and just cruise this back road around to the house. So kind of a cool experience, these 901, 902 transmissions with their Racing H format. So if you ever jump into one, look down if you're in an older Porsche 911 or 912, and if they have that Racing H, remember, reverse is where first is, and first is where second is. So be prepared for that. And that first gear is kind of down and over a bit. And it's a unique setup. Again, the transmission was made for racing to give you second and third on top of each other, so you can just downshift and upshift all day long on top of each other. Alright guys, I hope you've enjoyed this quick little video on driving a first gen 911 or 912 with the 901, 902 transmission, which has a standard Racing H in it. And if you get a chance, drive one. But it's clunky, it's real mechanically, it's not as smooth as, say, the Boxster's transmission, but it is a lot of fun and gives you that full feel of the road and the excitement of it all.